Today I'm addressing the 5 changes from Oblivion to New Oblivion that I like the most, but first some honourable mentions. Let's just get it out the way and praise the graphics, because obviously that's an improvement that most people would agree with. It doesn't make my top 5 though, because I liked Oblivion's graphics and still do. It was more vibrant and charming. New Oblivion's graphics are still great, but I had to install a mod to restore vibrancy as it was sorely missing for me. I also don't much like the design of the orcs this time around. I mean, I'm sure you've seen the pictures of people's orcs, but all of the other races in my opinion look fantastic, although I do miss the high elves being absurdly tall compared to the other races. So yeah, the graphics are amazing, but far from the main reason I enjoy the game. Another honourable mention I want to give is for locking the skeleton key behind the level 10 requirement for Nocturnal Shrine. In Oblivion, you could bypass all locks from level 1 due to being able to complete Nocturnal Shrine prematurely, but they fixed that loophole. Honestly, I almost wish level 10 was level 20, as it really does just put security down as a skill, unless you're roleplaying as someone who would never deal with a Daedric Lord. The final honourable mention is not being bombarded by DLC notifications when you leave the sewer. That always felt off, being told that you've just inherited 5 houses moments after escaping prison. It's really hard for you to mentally roleplay around. I used to mentally lock off things like Frostcrag Spire until I was Archmage, as almost like a reward for beating Manny Marco. Likewise, I used to lock off Battlehorn Castle until after I was Master of Cyrodiil, like a reward from Chancellor Akoto for stopping the Oblivion Crisis. The rumour system that now leads you to the homes is much better, but still not perfect. I would still prefer if they were like rewards for doing some kind of really cool quest. Okay, and now for the top 5 changes that I've loved in the remastered version. Number 1, the leveling system. Always getting 12 attribute points, endurance health boost being retroactive, meaning that you no longer need to rush it, leveling using all skills, willpower and agility being a bit more useful, mercantile leveling faster. It's just much better than the old system. If I could improve the system, I'd reduce the XP gains a little bit, as I feel like I level every skill now without much effort, but I'd keep the new XP system the same for some tedious skills, such as security, mercantile and speechcraft. Mercantile XP gained being tied to the value of the items sold is a fantastic change. Number 2, weapon perks. I really like how instead of blade, blunt and hand-to-hand all basically sharing the same perk ideas, having something more to differentiate them. Blade for its weakness to normal weapons, blunt for its shield and silence, and hand-to-hand for its disarm. I understand from talking to people that apparently monks punching ghosts is a thing in some other games, but I had never heard of this before, and it still strikes me as a little bit unusual, but it's Oblivion so it gets a pass. Marksman's paralysis ability buff is also great, as you can now get it at expert level, so there's a bit more variety to how your weapons of choice will feel gameplay wise. I also like how agility now governs daggers and short swords on top of bows. It's not a weapon perk, but I also love that the armorer perk now allows you to repair magical items at level 25, which helps with the pacing of the game, as getting to level 50 armorer was quite an investment early on, and you kind of felt compelled to rush it for convenience purposes so that you didn't have to go back to town all the time. Also not a weapon perk, but I felt like along with armorer this would just fit better in the perk section of this video. I also love how they made alchemy even more powerful than before. It was a very powerful skill in Oblivion and now it's even more powerful. As someone who really loves investing in alchemy, I love that you can craft multiple potions with ingredients to save you having to tediously collect even more ingredients, but also it allows you to consume more potions. In Oblivion, you could only drink 4 potions at a time no matter your level, whereas now, as far as I know, you can drink up to 10. This helps a lot on harder difficulties, which if you've watched my other controversial video, you'll know that I prefer playing on hard. Number 3, blocking. Blocking is actually way more useful now. Not only can you develop your block skills to eventually use your shield as a weapon by bashing, on expert and master difficulty in particular, blocking really helps you stay alive. I can imagine blocking is next to pointless on novice and apprentice difficulty, and maybe it's occasionally useful on adept, but for those of us who do like the challenge, blocking actually feels a rewarding thing to invest in. Maybe I'll do my own skill tier list video at some point. Number 4, the Lord Birth Sign. I love the change to the Lord Birth Sign to give you 15% shield and 15% magic resist, as it really makes for a solid defensive choice, even if not coupled with Bretons. That's right, they're Bretons now, not Bretons. Although there is actually a character in the game that calls them a Breton. Similar to how the characters can't decide whether they're called Daedra or Deidre. Anyway, that's going off on a bit of a tangent. Attribute bonuses still help a lot early in the game when you get them from birth sign bonuses, but they are a little bit less valuable late game when the game actually gets difficult, as by then you're going to be getting your attributes to level 100 anyway. And so the Lord Birth Sign really shines from start to finish as a solid choice. I only wish that some of the other birth signs could have been slightly buffed, as really mage, apprentice, lord, and for some roleplay purposes the thief birth signs are the only birth signs really worth investing in my opinion. And before anyone brings up the tower again, 5% reflect damage is not a lot even early game. And I know what you're thinking, oh but we need reflect damage for the spell making altar. There are other ways to get reflect damage for the spell making altar instead of just making your whole birth sign based around it. And even if you do invest in reflect damage at the spell making altar, it's really expensive to cast when you could instead just get reflect damage equipment. If reflect damage was a bit cheaper at the spell making altar, or there was no other way to get it for the spell making altar, then yes, I would agree the tower would be worth investing in from time to time. After my first playthrough, I'll probably go about buffing the birth signs myself. Number 5, reactive combat. The combat in New Oblivion is far from perfect, but I think it's at least on par with Skyrim's. It's a tough call, to be honest. It takes the best parts of Oblivion's combat system, such as being able to cast spells even if you have weapons equipped, and added in some of Skyrim's features such as shield bashing, but sadly no dual wielding. And it leads to a more satisfying experience for combat. My personal favourite thing is that I can feel it when I get staggered or if I stagger enemies. My favourite moment was on Master difficulty. I was just about to launch a fireball spell at a Mythic Dawn agent in the tutorial section, and another agent hit my hand, and you could see my fireball go skyrocketing up to the ceiling rather than at the intended target. It's happened a few times where I've gone to fire an arrow at one enemy, being staggered and the arrow released to hit another enemy. Once though that happened and I ended up hitting a guard in Kvatch, which led to a bounty. That just made me chuckle more than anything. There's so many things to love about this game, but those 5 are some of my favourite changes that I really have enjoyed. Please let me know your favourite changes down in the comments section. That's all I've got for you today. See ya.